Friends, today we're going to take a look at these new types of potions that Amazon has added into New World with the Rise of the Angry Earth expansion. They require quite a lot of materials to make them, but they do have some interesting effects. So they work around the spore mechanic, which you may not have seen too much on. I think it's a sort of less a focused on thing with the expansion, but effectively when you jump into a spore cloud, if you have this potion active, you deal 27% more damage with this legendary potion, and interestingly, you gain increased loot from creatures in the Elysian Wilds for 270 seconds. We also have the other version here as well, which is taking less damage rather than dealing more damage, and you gain increased resources from harvesting spore plants. Now that doesn't really sound too exciting to me, harvesting spore plants. Maybe it's going to be an important mechanic, but what we're going to focus on in today's video is the Artemis potion here, and we're going to see how good the loot increase is and whether it's worth making these, and we'll talk about the resources that go into them as well. Now, I've got to be a small gripe here, just a little bit of a rant. Amazon doesn't provide you with any of the materials to make this. We don't get any charged sand or petrified fragments or petrified heart or infused sand. We do get these down here, so making these really requires quite a lot of time. We've spent like an hour gathering the materials just to be able to make the sort of second tier here. So sadly, we're not going to go all the way up to legendary because getting infused spore jelly, like I say, it's just a massive time sink. Amazon, if this somehow gets through to you, can you please, when you do a update on the test server and you add in new content, if you could give us the materials to test out the new content, that would be fantastic. But anyway, that's a rant for a different video. Maybe they wanted to get feedback on, how difficult it is to acquire the materials, but it doesn't seem to line up with other things. So let's make this Artemis potion here. Let's pop it and let's go see if we get some juicy loot and whether you should be making these when the Rise of the Angry Earth expansion goes live.
Today's video was brought to you by Omni Heroes. Omni Heroes is a heroic fantasy strategy RPG available on both iOS and Android, and the game has received many positive recommendations on both Google Play and the App Store. Now, in Omni Heroes, you're called upon to rescue the captive Valkyries from demons and fight with them to overthrow the evil that's threatening the world. You'll be able to summon legendary heroes, unlock multiple synergies, and match hundreds of team comps to take down your enemies. We also have some big news. Omni Heroes is going to be bringing you guys an epic event called Tides Cadence. This event is going to be an exciting underwater adventure with a brand new event map. By consistently logging in during the event, you'll have the chance to claim the glorious Valkyrie Marina for free. But that's not all. As you progress through the stages, you will be accumulating valuable points that can be exchanged for fantastic rewards, including her exclusive new skin. Additionally, popular characters Dorabella and Ayusha will be making a stylish splash with their swimsuit skins, featuring unique skills and captivating visuals to elevate your battles. Make sure you guys use my link in the description down below to download Omni Heroes. With it, you'll get 777 free summons to kickstart your journey in the game. And within the first week of playing, you'll be able to secure a minimum of 5 legendary heroes. On top of this, you're also guaranteed to summon the legendary hero and Valkyrie Dorabella. She's an arcane mage with huge DPS capabilities, and let's be honest, who doesn't like huge DPS capabilities? So once again, make sure you guys check out my link in the description down below. You can download and play Omni Heroes for free starting today.
So I think in order to properly understand and get a sort of reference point for how powerful this potion is, I'm going to spend like 10 minutes or so killing enemies in the Isle of Zurvan zone. So we are going to kill elite enemies, and then we'll pop the potion and we'll see how much better the loot is. Now, I know you guys might say, Baggins, 10 minutes really isn't long enough. That's not a big enough sample size or whatever. And I agree with you, but I'm kind of pressed for time. There's only a few hours left of the test server until it shuts down for a couple weeks, and there's quite a few videos that I want to record. By the way, if you want to see those, if you want more of this sort of cool science and explanations of how stuff works in the expansion, make sure you go ahead and click subscribe. We do upload a lot of New World content here on the channel. Also, a cheeky like on the video does go a long way. But yeah, with that being said, we're going to pop into the Isle of Zurvan here. It's a pretty cool little area. We'll kill some elites. I'll take about 10 minutes and I'll sort of track the general loot, but I don't think we're going to include all of this in the video. Because, it's probably going to be a little bit boring just watching me just kill enemies over and over again. So yeah, we'll take stock of what we get, and I'll come back to you guys in about 10 minutes, and then we'll pop the potion, and we'll go for another 10 minutes. So we spent about 10-15 minutes killing enemies in the Isle of Zurvan, and it's got to be said, the loot really wasn't that impressive. Most of the enemies that we did kill didn't drop anything at all, and if they did drop something, it was generally quite crap. But I've already popped the potion, and because I'm an idiot, I didn't start the recording button. But one thing that's pretty cool, you do get the bottle back, so it seems like you can keep going, which is kind of nice because that's going to sort of decrease the amount of materials that you need to do it over and over again. I have stepped into the Spore Cloud, and it gives me this buff here. So it says you're attuned to the spores, deal more damage, and receive unique loot from creatures in the Elysian Wilds. Now, for whatever reason, the Spore Clouds that were in the Isle of Zurvan zone weren't giving me the buff. So I don't know if it's a bug, probably a bug or something like that. So we did have to move to a new area here, the Tribunal Highmound, but the enemies are elites here. They're level 70 as well, so hopefully we're not going to see too much of a difference. But let's try and take on some of these mammoths. And what I'm hoping to see is that like pretty much every enemy we kill gives us something. It also says that we get unique loot, which is pretty cool as well. So I don't know, like something special that you'll only get while you have this potion active. I'm not sure. All right, first mob didn't give us anything. Let's go to our second mob. If this just kind of works like a luck potion, a lot of people have some hot takes, and you know, it is a bit of a heated topic when we talk about luck in New World. Whenever we bring it up in the stream, there are a lot of people who say that luck is a scam. Okay, so we got some spores off of that monkey there. Interesting. We haven't had spores drop before, so is this just like spores to get more spores to get more spores? Oh, this is, I just realized this is a named enemy. Okay, well, this should be interesting. We are rocking the Spear Greatsword build. If you want to check out how this build works, I'll put a link to it up in the top right. It is pretty powerful. It relies on lifesteal to sort of keep itself alive, so we do quite a bit of damage. We've only got 100 constitution, and we're using the Blood Drinker ring, so you can see every time we land an attack here, as long as we don't die in one hit, we do get to lifesteal a pretty incredible amount with this build, so just got to be careful with our positioning, but it does do quite a bit. We've also got the Stone Farmer in to hopefully help us out as well, so we don't get CC'd to death. Let's see, do we get anything cool from these three mobs here? Alright, a bag of loot. We got Obsidian Gypsum, we got more spores. Is that it? These potions might just be here to give you spores. Deal more damage and receive unique loot. I guess dealing more damage is kind of cool, but now we need to go find another Spore Cloud as well. It seems like whenever you walk through spores, it sort of deactivates them, so they don't stay there forever. So now we got to go find another Spore Cloud to sort of re-enable the buff before we kill anything. Oh, I see one up there. All right, there we go. We reapplied the buff. Let's take on a chameleon, shall we? By the way, I think these are one of the scariest enemies in the Elysian Wild zone. These guys go invisible. They do like a sneak attack, and holy flip, it hits hard. These are like the new, I don't know, the bears. You know, if bears were like one of the most terrifying enemies in the sort of pre-expansion New World, chameleons, in my opinion, are one of the scariest post-New World. They can like straight up one-shot you sometimes. All right, we've got some icy mammoths here. So it seems like, so far, the takeaway that, you know, the only loot that I'm seeing that's different so far is the enemies are now dropping spores when we kill them. And if that's going to be the case, we'll keep testing it, obviously. But if that's the case, I don't really think these are going to be worth it unless you really love collecting spores. You can use spores to make a gypsum orb, but it's only like once per day, so I don't know. Again, maybe we need to get like the legendary potion to really see the benefit of this. Well, we'll see. We'll keep going. And we'll cut back in if something exciting happens. Okay, so we may have died running through a massive mob of apes that like drained our stamina completely to zero and then murdered us. Man, any mobs that sort of remove your stamina, really OP. You know, there's that one guy in Empyrean Forge with the sword. Anyway, let's step into the spores here and get the buff again. And let's try for a little bit longer. I think what I'm coming to the conclusion is this buff doesn't seem to be too insane. It seems to be the main appeal is it gives you a chance to sort of get spores when you kill enemies rather than needing to just go harvest spore pods. But yeah, if that is just the case, if that's all it does, this is a pretty kind of poo-poo buff, to be honest. I don't really think it's worth the time or investment. But again, let's just spend a little bit longer. We have got quite a lot of mobs here. Pop my stone form rune. Do a little bit of... oh, there's a chameleon. Spooky chameleon. Are any of these mobs dropping anything? Good lord. Yeah, my health bar is kind of like a I don't know, a roller coaster with this build. It goes all the way down, goes all the way back up, goes all the way down. As long as we don't just get CC'd to death, we can, you know, do quite a bit. And hitting for nearly 10k crits on those mobs there. Right, any bags of loot? Anything at all in here? Might have to skin to move some stuff out of the way. I don't think we got anything there, though. Nope, it looks like there wasn't anything here at all. We'll try and step in the spores one more time. I'm going to go for like one more pack of enemies, but so far, the conclusion, and I know this is very, you know, like a short amount of science, but my immediate sort of gut instinct is telling me that I don't really think these potions are worth it. Well, maybe the legendary ones, and again, maybe some things are bugged right now in the test server, because again, this video was recorded sort of 2 weeks before the expansion went live, so some things might change. If they do, I'll let you guys know in the comments down below. Maybe we'll make a new video on this topic, but yeah, this buff doesn't really seem to be doing much at all. The only thing that I've noticed that was different from the enemies that we're killing in the Isle of Zurvan is occasionally some enemies are dropping spores. So yeah, I guess if you want more spores, these potions are going to be worthwhile going for. Let's kill a couple more mammoths here and see if we get anything special. We haven't had any legendaries so far, so... or really anything of like note at all. There's really been nothing good here. Oh, we got a bag. And yeah, more ancient attuned spores. So again, pretty convinced that all this thing does is just the sort of rare and exotic loot that you get, unique loot, is just more spores. So, you know, if you love your spores, go ahead and make some of these potions, but I think probably most people don't care too much about the spores unless there's something extra special coming with the expansion that we just haven't found out about yet. But yeah, that seems to be it, friends. My conclusion on the potion so far: if you want more spores, if you love the spores in your life, then go ahead and make the spore potions. But for the majority of us, I think it's probably a mechanic that we don't really need to worry too much about. But hey, you know, I think it was probably worth covering in a video, hopefully. You guys can decide whether you want to take part in this. If you guys found this one useful, make sure you go ahead, leave a like button, subscribe if you want to see more science and cool stuff. Well, cool stuff like this. Let me know what you think about the Spore Potion and the Angriath expansion in the comments down below. Yeah, it could be that the loot table of these enemies here is different from the Isle of Zurvan. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, they don't seem to be super exciting so far. Anyway, I will catch you guys all in the next video.